All right. Hello, now guys. Tonya Tko here. And I'm really excited about going live today because I'm getting the opportunity to be able to talk with you all about self-love. And a few years ago, I made a video that did really well on Facebook where I was talking about how to love yourself even when you hate yourself. I think that was the name of it, something along those lines. But hey, everybody, welcome in, welcome in. And in that video, I was talking about how to combat the feelings of self-hatred on the inside. And in this video, we're going to be coming at it from a little bit of a different standpoint. There's a baby. Younger and younger people are entering into this off-the-grid life. If you haven't already, start looking into it. Me personally, I'm going to be doing a full feature, whatchamacallit, for you all on how to live off the grid. So stay tuned for that, right? So welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I'm really excited today about this topic. So I want you to come with your questions so that I can answer them live. The thing that's making me most excited is I'm on my way to New York and I'm going to be doing a full day workshop in New York. And the name of the workshop is called the Self-Love Soul Sauna. And I just love that name because it speaks so much about what self-love is when you already think that you love yourself. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, because we could all use more self-love in our lives. One of the things that I've seen coming up on my page lately are people coming out to shame other people about self-love. Like, shame, you need to love yourself, shame on you, love yourself more, know your worth, right? And we are all products of our environment, products of our programming. And much like going into a sauna, do I have air conditioning? As you see, the window is open. I do have air conditioning. However, and actually, that's actually how I came up with the name for the full day event. I have air conditioning, but on the RV park that I'm on, the infrastructure is old and I'm right near the breaker. So when I turn on my AC, it trips the breaker for about 4 or 5 other trailers. And it's really hot. I can personally deal with the heat. As you see, I'm moist and dewy looking. Oh, there's stuff on the ground in the back. Oh, you have to forgive me. I'm in the process of getting the vitamin E's prepped for shipping, etc. I'm really excited that they have come in. But today we're talking about self-love. So I can deal with the heat. I'm actually a summer baby. I like the heat. I don't like the cold. So I have been able to deal with, the feeling of the breeze, you know what I mean? It's very hot in Southern California. It's probably inching up close to 100 degrees, but I have conditioned myself to be able to deal with the heat. So we're talking about self-love as it relates to a sauna. And I need you all to start asking me your questions, right? So I'm going to be doing an event on June 29th in New York City. And it's going to be an all-day event. I was able to book this location from morning till night, and we're going to be in there. We're going to be diving deep into self-love. We're going to be what is the word? We are going to be purging ourselves. I don't like the word purge. We are going to be, let me see, I need to come up with, I need a better word, not purge. We are going to be purifying. We're going to be purifying ourselves of the past. And so there were a few other people that said that they wanted to, I mentioned it in the video that I did yesterday where I was going off. But you know what? I like alliterations, like purify, past, self-love, soul sauna. You know, that you got to get that the alliteration going on. So you get the pop, 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 pop. Right? And so, oh God, I'm all over the place. This is why I don't like doing live videos. Because when I do the live videos, you all distract me with your jokes and everything. Right? All right. So, Raquez, I know I said your name correctly because you came on the air the other day and got me together. right? And so, how do you reach maximum self love when you're still discovering? Are. And you know what? And I'll say this, and this is part of the reason that I'm doing the video. And you all please help me stay on track. So if there's something that I started saying that I forgot to finish the point of, I need you all. And then look, now the thing is frozen. While it's frozen, I'm gonna clean off my camera a little bit. It was a little blurry, so you guys can't see me doing that, but I'm sure you can hear me. But I've just cleaned it. So when you come back, it should be like sparkling. Spring. So nonetheless, so let's talk. How do you love yourself when you're still when you're still getting to know yourself? And I think it's important to have conversations like this because I think a lot of us are confused about what self-love is and what self-love looks like, right? And I think a lot of us are thinking, "Oh, self-love is someplace out there. Happiness is somewhere out there." However, each one of us loves ourselves in capacity. Each one of us knows ourselves to some capacity, but there are many different layers. It's like being in a self-sustaining building and really kind of discovering new floors as you go along each year. Right. Hey, Kevin, welcome in, everyone. This is a live video, right? This is, and don't ask me why I did it live because there's going to be a lot of distractions here. And so ultimately, so let's talk about the two different parts of yourself. So there's the body, there's also mind, and then there's spirit, right? And then there's the heart mind connection, right? But we're just going to talk about spirit and body. So right now we are in the flesh. We are human beings and we are governed by hormones and a human brain and human flesh, etc. When all is said and done, we are love. And when we get to the ultimate level of self realization, when we realize who exactly it is that we are, there's no need for us to be here on this earth anymore, right? Well, Candace, have a good day at work. There's no reason for us to be here on this earth anymore. We can just ascend out into the oneness. Part of the reason that we decided to incarnate as human beings is to be able to have the experience of a human. And so you come into this world with a lot of obstacles, that are pre-planned by your higher self. Like the conditions, you're born into certain conditions that is already negotiated with your soul family. No matter how difficult or strained the relationship with your earthly parents may be, on a soul level, you all made an agreement to come here in this life and work with one another together, right? And so while you're getting to know yourself, first of all, forgiveness, gentleness, be gentle with yourself. Forgive yourself for not being who, where, or what you thought that you should be. Forgive yourself and allow yourself to be where you are. Allow yourself to be where you are. So, Raquez, as you're getting to know yourself, that's cool. Continue to explore. Thank yourself for the journey along the way. Because you know what? It's like so many of us feel like there's a destination out there that we're trying to get to. Like I'm trying to get there, but we don't really realize that life is what happens when you're trying to get to these arbitrary benchmarks and destinations. What is the quality of your life like right now? So I have the opportunity to be able to work with you all in a full day workshop where we're going to be peeling back the layers. We're going to create a sacred space for us in that room. Is going to be a small group of us that are going to come together and in a trusting, loving environment, really take off our barriers and really get down to self-healing, coming into awareness of ourselves and releasing those things that don't serve us any longer. So Shayana is saying, have you ever thought about radios and podcasts? With a face like this, why would I hide it with radio? I have a really beautiful voice, yes, and I use that to do my hypnotherapeutic MP3s, right? Rachel says she'd love to. Rachel said, is it Rachel or Raquel? I think it's Rachel. Come on, she says she'd love to be in that room. And Mimi saying, my book came today. Yay! Use it for a little while and then put a review on the website. And then Abby says, I realize I talk really bad to myself in my head. I say things to myself that I would never say to even a stranger. Well, you know what? And that is one of the things that we're going to be working on inside the room that day. Ridding yourself of negative self talk. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'll read to you what it is that we're going to be doing. The name of the event is the Selflove Soul Sauna, and you can see it on my website at tonyatko.com. If you just scroll down, you'll see the flyer there. This is how the flyer looks. This is how the flyer looks. Isn't that beautiful? I'll turn up the light so you can see it. It's the Self-Love Soul Sauna. And the U is pink with the heart for the O. I thought that was really creative and clever. I like that. It just came. It just came. So nonetheless, right, that's one of the things that we're actually going to be doing in the room. That's one of the first things that we're going to be doing is getting rid of negative self-talk, because you'd be surprised there's so many of us who speak some very horrible, unthinkable things to ourselves. So I'll read to you and you can read it on the website, what the event is going to do. Eliminate negative self-talk, heal parental relationships, rewrite early childhood programming which is no longer serving you, release shame and guilt, forgive people you haven't been able to forgive, inner child work, reset your self-worth, meet and mingle with like-minded people, work with Tonya Tko one-on-one, and dive deep into self-healing and reclaim your time. I had to end with that one because I'm like, you know what? This is what it's all about. You know, here in this life, we give up so much of our time. After a heartbreak, we're waiting 1 or 2 years before we start dating again. You know, I was thinking about the video that I did yesterday, but you know what? I want to talk about that in a whole other video, where these guys are like, oh, she should have known better, but she's young. What are these older men doing, taking this young woman's time when he knows that she really doesn't benefit from this friends with benefit relationship he's bringing to her? You know, he's just stealing her youth. He's like a succubus. And Elias is saying, I'm so depressed. Oh, hugs, hugs, hugs. Everybody send some hugging, loving energy out to Elias or Elias. And Missy saying, I need to make time for the MP3 again. It works. Thank you. and And Abby says, my mom told me that when you stop judging yourself, you'll stop judging others. You know, Abby, you're very aware, because there's some people who don't get it. They don't get it. And they're like, they're so harsh. I put up a post on Facebook the other day, and there were young ladies who were calling this girl fast in the tail because she was a young lady living her life. And I'm like, you know, you judge her harshly because you judge yourself harshly. And then this girl, oh, how she thought she was cursing me out, but she was really expressing, you know, ranting from a very broken place on the inside. I don't take that type of stuff personally. All right. Missy says she has negative thinking. Abby says I stopped saying should, would, could to myself and others. Ask people to say it to me. Instead, I say next time I might. I can do it this way. You know what? You're on a good path. You're on a good path. So let's see. And so Little Flower has been returning to Saturn. So listen, you know what? I'm just going to say this here in this video. For the people, if you have negative self-talk, you really need to combat that. This book right here is an amazing book for rewriting that subconscious program. And this is a book that I wrote. It's on my website, tonyatko.com/books. And it is a workbook. So you will be working and doing some work inside the book. The affirmations seem very simple, but they are created by a certified clinical hypnotherapist to be written in a way that is most healing for you. And so Tammy's saying we're going to work on changing that black color heart First, we need to work on stop calling things that are bad black. Why couldn't it be a burgundy heart? Why black? You know what I mean? Let's work on that. Let's do that first. All right. And Cheyenne is saying, I hate when someone FaceTimes me and I don't show my face and they say, you don't love yourself. Annoying. No, I just don't want to get out of bed and turn on the light. Not really in the mood for the hype. Well, you know what? The fact that you're bringing this up right now is letting me know that there's something in there that is kind of, like when you have a rock in your shoe. You have a rock in your shoe and it's like you can't really shake that feeling. The fact that you're bringing that up right now is kind of letting me know that this is something that kind of is impacting you a little bit more than you're letting on. All right. And so Leah is saying, your book, is it good for teenagers, meaning teenage girls? Yes, people are actually buying this for children as young as 9. I think 9 was the youngest that I've heard someone buy this book for their child. And it is a perfect book for teenagers because, teenagers are in a very, they're very in a very precocious point in life where a lot of development is going on. Also, in the teenage years is when young adults, when boys and girls start developing their dating style and they really start paying attention to what it is that they're seeing and implementing that as their dating style. And so it's definitely a good idea to catch children while they're young into doing a book like mine so that the rest of their life can be smooth sailing. You know what I mean? It's like there's so many of us who want to do the best that we can for our children. And sometimes we don't really know what to do. And especially when your babies turn teenagers, my God. If anybody out there has never had your cute little precious angel turn into the monster, which is teenage years, then you don't know what you listen. You don't know. I hugs and kisses to you, hugs and kisses to you. So no, you can't get the book at Barnes and Nobles just yet. However, maybe in a few years. Right now, the book you can get on my website, tonyatko.com/books. And let's see, let's catch some more. Dark is a better word. I'm never in a black place, but I have been in a dark place before. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I wish that words like black and dark weren't, I wish that they weren't used to describe people as well as all of these horrible, horrible things that we come up with. You know what I mean? So let's see what else. And Mommy Ellis is saying, as long as it's softback, it could be sent to prison. Who asked about prison? Oh, I missed that one. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but somebody says that as long as it's softback, it could be sent to prison. You know what? I want to listen, if there's somebody out there who has a connection with the prison system, I want to do workshops in the prison for young adults who are incarcerated and help them reconnect with self-love. So if there's somebody out there who has a connection in the prison, please let me know. Contact me on my website, tonyatko.com/contact. All right. And Dupree said, my daughter about to be 16. I almost gave her temporarily to her godmother. That's how tough those preteen, and teen years can be, honey. Yeah, you know what? Your child turns into someone you don't recognize. And that sweet little loving person with the big wide eyes and the loving smile who you came to love gets swallowed up in a part of them. And you don't know who that monster is that is now standing before you. The teenage years are hard. That's why it's important to do what we have to do. That's why it's important to do what we have to do for our children, even when they don't think they want us to, because the teenage years don't last forever. They come and they go. Oh, Missy, your daughter's in prison? Well, big hugs to you and your daughter. Ask your daughter if she knows of any organizations that bring speakers in. Ask her if well, what state are you in? Because I would probably have to do it in a state that I'm already in. And Leah's saying I'll get my husband to order from your website. That's cool. And mommy saying between 12 and 17 girls are horrible. You know what? I don't even want to section it between girls and boys, because you got something on your hands with boys, especially when there's a man in the house and that teenage boy starts smelling some pheromones or something. I don't know what happens to him, but he raises up to test the patriarch of the family. And that's when you really need a strong patriarch to kind of, when you have a tree that's growing out of line and you need to bust that tree back into its place. Listen, let's move on, let's move on, let's move on. Let's move on, let's move on. You know what? This is why I'm not doing any more live videos when I have something that I need to express, because I just lose my whole complete train of thought. Right? I just lose my whole complete train of thought. So nonetheless, mommy has 6 girls and 2 boys. How old are the boys? Because you only mentioned the horribleness of the girls. You know what? I would say still at 12, they have a chance. I found that they don't start going crazy until they turn about 16. Right? At 15, 16, they go loco. Oh, wow. So Leah saying she took her 13-year-old daughter off of the computer until 2020. You know, you know what? I listen, these computers ain't no joke. These computers ain't no joke. They get inside the child's eyes and stuff. You know what? I'm going to do this video again. Except I'm going to record it and then upload it, because I can't concentrate with you all talking to me. All right. McKenna is 15. So McKenna says, I'm 15 and I know for a fact everyone is always trying to act the F up and not understand what's happening in the world. Well, you know what? Listen. And you know what? And listen, McKenna, don't be afraid to find your own way. Don't be afraid to experiment. We give children a lot of kudos and props for listening and abiding, right? However, don't be afraid to kind of chart your own path. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, your life is your life. When I was 13 years old, I started reading Terry McMillan books, right? And I longed to be the women in that book. I longed to be 35. I'm telling you, I'm 13 years old, and I couldn't wait until I was 35. Everybody else, listen, everybody else was being a kid and having fun, and I was really I was thinking about those women from the Terry McMillan books, The Waiting to Exhale and The Disappearing Acts, and all of that, and I was really waiting until I was in my 30s. I spent so much time just projecting myself into a time in the future. And there were so many things that I didn't allow myself to do or to participate in, because I didn't want to be like those stupid kids on TV who were like, I hate you, man, running and slamming the. First of all, that wasn't going to go down in my house anyway, right? Listen, Rachel, I know. That's what I'm saying. I've abandoned the topic. I'm going to record a video and then upload it later. Because what can I do now? We're already off topic, and I'm going to have to get off the video soon because I have a full weekend ahead of me. Um, And so the current is saying, what are some self-help phrases that you should say every day to keep sadness away? You know, I created a whole entire book with of self-love affirmations, and the book is only $20. It's full color. It's a robust book that is also light and travelable, so you can take it with you wherever you go without it weighing you down or being too heavy. And it's 52 pages of full color with workbooks and questions where you actually go and you do the work and you do the affirmations, you rewrite them. So this is a those are all of the best phrases that I have compiled right there in a way that is most powerful and effective for rewriting your subconscious programming. Nonetheless, I'm going to give it 3 more minutes and then I'm going to jump out of here. And so, yeah, so I was telling the young lady, you know, don't be afraid to chart your own path and live your life. You know what I mean? Because when all is said and done, you've got to make yourself happy, and you've got to, you know, there are some horrible things that exist out there, you know, but there are also some really beautiful things that exist out there too. And part of loving yourself is really coming to terms with who it is that you are and what it is that you want out of this life. You know what I mean? But you have to experiment to discover that. You know? You have to experiment to discover that. All right. Thank you, Missy. So Leah is saying, I have one daughter that's a nurse, and I think she's wasting her life with this guy. When I try to tell her, we argue. What is your best advice? My best advice is it depends on what it is that you want. What is it that you want? If you want her to leave this guy alone, attacking him is not going to get her to do that. As a matter of fact, oftentimes it leads to them clinging in tighter. One thing that you have to remember is that when it comes to mates, like you don't really know your daughter. You don't know your daughter. Your daughter is attempting to show you who it is that she is through the man that she has chosen, and you are in fact attacking your daughter and who your daughter is and who she's showing you to be. So this is an opportunity for you to learn more about your daughter, where her insecurities are, where her self-worth or whatnot lie, where her programming is. If she's with a guy that you feel is, you know, a mess or whatever, take a look at what type of relationship she had with her father, with her own father. And what does her father say about that? Is she looking for, was her father not present? Is she looking for the validation? And then also, let me ask you this question. How similar is this guy to her father? I want to know that question. I want to know that question. And then Abby is saying, when my mom was accepting of my abusive husband, that was when I felt I could leave. You know, that's very interesting. Girls are in abusive relationships since the 7th grade. You need to make sure you know what's happening in her life because they have sex all the time nowadays. Yeah. So Leah, I want to find out how similar is this guy to her own father. I want to know that because we are often acting out. We have these psychic dramas that are going on, or psychodramas that are going on, and we're looking for healing. So we enter into these relationships that are similar to the relationships that we needed healing with our parents. This is part of the reason that's one of the things that we're working on healing inside of the Self-Love Soul Sauna. And so she could be attempting to heal some brokenness that exists between the relationship between her father and her in this relationship, because we subconsciously draw these relationships in, and we subconsciously draw these relationships in, and then we tell ourselves, okay, I'm going to make it work this time. I'm going to be lovable enough that XYZ won't happen. I'm going to be good enough. I'm going to be strong enough. I'm going to be all of these things that they're acting out in this relationship in an effort to find healing through this relationship. And in truth, the relationship is really only an extension of something that's going on inside. You know, the relationship is really an extension. So, listen, few more moments and then we're going to jump out of here. I'm so glad. Thank you all for coming out. I'm happy that when I turn on the camera, you all come out and we get to have a conversation and we get to chat. I feel really blessed by that. Here go Ivana. How do you stop your boyfriend from saying white lies? It seems to be a thing that's starting to develop and I want it to stop. Here we go. Black heart and white lies. How do you stop your boyfriend from lying? Your boyfriend is telling you who he is, and you have to kind of, you gotta, I find that communication is the best. Just have a conversation and let it be known what your boundary is and what will happen when that boundary is crossed, and then stick to it. Stick to it. Let's see. So, Tonya, the guy works hard, but he's irresponsible, and my ex is irresponsible. Okay, so I asked you how similar the guy is to her father, or the father figure, or the relationship that she saw. So I mean, it's no wonder. I mean, if you're saying your ex is irresponsible and now she's with a guy who's irresponsible, what can you do? There's something about that that's familiar to her. There's something about it that's familiar. And there is someone in the audience who was saying that they want to get the book to do with their daughter together, right? And I say, really, your journey is an individual journey. And I find that when we really take our journey seriously is when we start to invest in the healing of our own journey rather than waiting and comparing journeys with other people. It's like it's a personal journey, you know? Okay, so Leah's saying that her dad is irresponsible, so is her boyfriend, and to your daughter, her father could do no wrong. Well, I mean, there's what can you do? What can you do? She has to learn the down part of being with a person that's irresponsible. But stop pushing your daughter away, arguing with her about this guy, because, like I said, she's letting you know who she is. Accept your daughter for who she is, or don't accept her. But you can't have your cake and eat it too, you know? And Leah's saying to my daughter, her dad could do no wrong. Me and my daughter have an artificial relationship, and we always have. I have always tried to get through to her. You are trying to find healing through your daughter, and it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. You are trying to make your daughter into somebody that she is not for your own healing. And you are go find your own healing. It's as simple as that, Leah. Go find your own healing for you. Your daughter is grown now. And you are filling up all of these voids in your life from looking at yourself for staring at your daughter and trying to find healing through her. Go find healing of yourself for yourself, Leah. Do that for you. Women especially, I find women especially, they give up their lives for their children. And then, yeah, everybody hit the like button. They give up their lives for their children. And then when their children go off and start having their own lives, the woman is left there with tattered and torn pieces on the ground because she doesn't know who she is in relation to this life anymore, because she's poured herself into her children so much that there was really nothing of her left. And now you've become this thing that you really, really, really did not want to be. You have grown into a person that you never thought that you would be. And I'm telling you, reclaim your time. You know, I came out here to talk about my event, and there's so many of us here who need to be able to find that healing inside. Reclaim your time, reclaim your life, Leah. Reclaim your life, because what you're doing right now is not working. What you're doing right now is not working. And when we have children, our children are born of us, they reflect something back to us. So when you say you have an artificial relationship with your daughter, you know that you're saying a lot right there. You're saying a lot, because that's reflecting back to you something very crucial. And I know it can be painful to hear these words. I know it can. I know it can. However, find your healing for you. Okay, Ma? Find your healing for you. And I better hear that you have already bought my self affirmations book. I better hear that. I better hear that. And Beatrix is saying, I have a question. Mine's is the person I'm with, mother, doesn't like me. And he takes it out on me because she doesn't like me, to the point we have not gotten married because of it. You know, we all have to determine our boundaries, and we all have to determine what type of life we want. You know what I mean? What type of life do we want? And I know I'm just going to talk about myself, which I don't typically talk about myself when people ask for advice, but I'll say this. My mother died when I was 19. And when I think about the type of family that I want to be in, right? I know for me it's important that I integrate into a family with a matriarch who has a healthy relationship with her son, which would be my husband, right? And you have to ask yourself, what is it that you want? What is it that your future looks like? You know? Because you're talking about this woman doesn't like you to the point that it causes art. Her son is taking it out. This sounds like a brouhaha. What the hell is going on over there? You know, I've heard about stuff like that, but I don't really know. I don't know how people stay in relationships like that. All right, Miss Diamond, see you later. I don't know how people stay in relationships like that. That's one thing for me that was really important. So is it important to you? Is it important to you that you have a relationship with your mother-in-law? Or do you not care? If you don't care and you're okay, I mean, I don't know. It's like, you know what, there's some boundaries that are not being set in that situation. He's not setting boundaries with his mother. You're not setting boundaries with him. You're not setting boundaries with yourself. You're allowing things to go on in your life that you don't like. Why are you in this mess like this? Why like this? Why? I need to know. But I don't have the time to find out. We're going to give it 4 more minutes, and then I'm going to get out of here because I have to start getting ready, because I'm having a complete therapeutic spa day tomorrow. And so I'm going to be pulling an all-nighter tonight, and I got to get all of these packages. I have to get as many packages as I can prepped for shipping. And so Shuja is saying peace with the mother-in-law is imperative. Who is the young lady who was asking? Oh, that's Beatrix. So Beatrix, I need you to come back and answer. Cause I don't understand, you know. I need to know whether or not it's important to you or not important to you, because obviously this relationship is communicating something to you. You know what I mean? And yes, Leah, make sure that your husband gets the book. You don't have money, Leah? Are you like a housewife and you don't make any money? So your husband has to do it, or you, but you're computer literate because you're on YouTube. I wonder what that's like. So for women who are housewives, how do you get money? Do you have like an account and you're able to use the account, or do you have an account and your husband puts money in the account? How does that work? You know what? I never thought about that. Can you imagine if you had to ask your husband or ask your partner, anybody, for everything that you need? Like if you needed to get some toiletries or something, be like, baby, I need to get a diva cup. And he's like, what's a diva cup? And then you have to explain to him about the catching of the menstrual flow. And then he's like, just here, take the money. Just take the doll. Because one thing men don't like to hear about is period blood. That's one thing that they do not like to hear about. I remember back in the days when I was making a video and I wanted the men to leave, I would just start talking about menstruation. And then the men would click off the video, and then me and the ladies, we could get to talking. And Beatrix is saying, I have tried to talk about it to him, but he argued with me about it, and she controlled him to what says. I do not, I do not feel sympathy for you, Beatrix. I don't. You are making a conscientious choice to be in a relationship with a person who does not respect your boundaries, your wishes, and your needs enough to be able to, so that you could be in a happy union. What in the F? Why do you want to get married into this situation? I mean, I understand he's a wonderful person, but you don't feel that you deserve peace? How old are you? So you're 36. I'm sorry, that's my ride. I gotta get out of here right now. All right, so listen, I will talk with you all later, all right? Peace.